Okay, so last time was interesting, to say the least. Atop the platform, coasting above Baskar, the dusty spiral, you fought for your lives against strange gnolls. After perishing, they flashed away into dust and light, bright enough to momentarily blind. Andesite helped blast gnolls as best as he could while calling out to Xalia, and as you had suspected, it was revealed that someone was impersonating this instance of Yae Vasarako. A muscly...
One might in fact say there was an imposter among us.
Alright.
Do you have an inspiration? Can I take it away from you? No, you used it. Okay. Just kidding.
No, it would have been deserved.
It was a muscly shapeshifter that congratulated you on being an attentive audience before dropping off the platform, muttering that he had a minotaur to mute, and to prevent the platform from crashing into the side of Rock Lobster Landing, some quick decisions were made, and successful, Xalia went to go get help. You're aided by the mercenaries that are helping out Baskar while the Doomstriders are short-staffed, and gotten directions to Foreman Toka's apartment upon Twig's decision. And arriving outside the stone apartment, Pastiche knocked on the door a few times to get his attention, and you are met with a gruff minotaur. Hearing your reason for showing, he beckons you inside. And that must be the only map I didn't preload, because I don't see everybody immediately going into it. Alright. So you all head in here. There's this as he closes the door behind you all, and you get a good look at the place that you're walking in. It is a cramped apartment with a workbench in the back corner and a work table in the middle. Jutting out from the walls are bookshelves. On the bookshelves are rows of golden trophies, all huge. Hung by their strings from a nail is a pair of bright red boxing gloves. Any empty wall space that is not filled with a bookshelf, trophy, or other trinket are posters of athletic events. And then, like, dropped haphazardly in the corners of the apartment are broken mining equipment. On the far workbench, you can see two large and curious-looking gauntlets that look like they have poles welded to them. And on the close workbench, you can see an array of metal pieces. They're mostly curved sheets of iron and steel amid smithing tools and also what appears to be a submarine sandwich. Toka, himself a porcupine if he weren't a minotaur, moves to the center of the room, behind the closest workbench, crosses his arms, and bellows, "Speak."
Xalia will open her mouth and just kind of make noises.
Okay, Kayla will like try and stifle a chuckle.
It's not like loud, it's just like slightly below talking volume.
He looks at you for a moment, Xalia.
Again, remember, she's a null skull.
Uh-huh.
Like a good solid 4 seconds of like piercing gaze at you, Xalia. And then he looks at the rest of it. Then he looks at the rest of the group.
Zoaz clears his throat and says, apologies, she does not speak. At least not in the ways we do. My good friend, we have reason to believe that a shapeshifter is coming here to... what was the word? Silence you?
Kind of snorts. I'd like to see him try. And then he points. Like, he's still crossing his arms, but he points one finger at your own shapeshifter.
Makayla points right back at him. Her finger is like a claw and it's kind of dripping a little bit of tar.
also come to assault me?
She's gonna kind of stare at him. She's gonna think about it for a little bit, and then just shake her head and shrug.
Zoaz stares at Xalia for a moment and slowly turns back to Toka and says, No, we have not. I figured you would appreciate a warning.
He nods slowly, looking, across your group. I do appreciate the warning. It will help me be alert. And being alert is a very valuable skill.
If you don't mind me asking, what do you know that would be worth silencing?
He gestures to you all. I know quite a bit. I've been keeping Mr. Elzir informed. If you are not pressed for time, have a seat. I will explain. You notice that there's no places to sit.
She'll stand, thank you, but you can continue anyways.
Xalia sits on the floor.
Yeah, same with Twig.
Is it like a carpeted floor, or is it like the wooden tiles that we see?
It is like wooden flooring. You suspect that directly underneath the wood is stone from Baskar.
Mm-hmm.
There is a carpet, and that's underneath the clothes workbench. It's less a carpet and more of like one of those anti-fatigue mats.
Yeah. Zoaz will stand.
Pastiche will sit.
Okay.
Go on.
I know quite a few things, such as the machinations of this. He slows his speaking and then pauses and looks at you all. Who do you work for?
Zoaz says, I am a shepherd, a moonlight shepherd. I work for that organization and no other.
Are you here at Elzir Orion's behest?
Ignoring what Xalia is doing, Zoaz shakes his head.
We are here because a man that we saw via shapeshifter said out loud that he is going to silence you.
If we are here, we found your location due to information from Elzir. If that is information that you would like to know, but
Make a persuasion check. Yeah. One moment.
That scares me.
Alright. You earned it.
oh yeah?
Did you roll a 20?
Nope.
And we beat it by 1.
He rolled a natural 1.
Oh.
Yo, let's go!
Let's go.
Toka, unwavering in his gaze, bores his eyes into you, Zoaz. I am loyal to Alzir. He accepted my immigration when none other would. If it is something that benefits him, I will assist.
I want to. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Did you have a specific question now that we have overcome the minuscule threat of some foolish shapeshifter coming to do what he thinks will accomplish something?
When he said he was loyal to Azir, could I insight check that to see if there's like any sort of signs of any like visual signs that he's like lying or not being truthful at all?
Yeah, you can peer over his countenance and his body language and
Yeah.
roll insight.
Whew.
A
27.
Wow. 27. All right.
What a hero.
So in your hands is suddenly Toka's diary. And
Read him like a book.
all right. So his. Written all across Toka's face is "I love buff men." No, I'm just kidding. So as he's sort of like saying these few sentences to Zoaz, Makayla, you calm yourself and cast all distractions aside, and you get a good look into this person. And Toka, he's a very spiky individual. Like his hair, like this mane of hair is prickly. His horns are spiky. His ears are at an angle where, shoot, maybe they'll hurt you if they run into you. He's got, he's a very prickly individual. His countenance is curved and angular to make him just forever have a surly look to him. But you can see in his eyes that there is a certain pride to this minotaur, and you can see that he's a very prideful being. He values. You can see that he values loyalty. Like, when he says the word loyalty, there's a flicker in his eyes that spark that sort of belief in you. And you can see him just give a slight nod whenever he says Alzir's name. So you do get the very hefty and confident sense that Toka does believe in Alzir, and you can sense that there is a in the intonation and like the tone of what he's saying, that Toka owes something to him. So he will. So being a prideful individual, that he doesn't. and based on the rest of it, you can get the sense that he doesn't care much for anything else.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I get that.
That is
vibe.
what your natural 20 gets you.
Cool. Thank you.
Though we did not come here to ask questions, now that I'm reminded of it, I believe I do have something to ask. You know of someone that Alzir hired rather recently, known by the name of Feather?
Kind of scowls. I know her.
Bailey's gonna snap her fingers and make a minor illusion of Feather.
Ah, thank you, Xalia.
He juts a finger towards the illusion. That's precisely what she looks like. I know her. She's a new hire. Not sure what possessed Alzir to bring her along, but... Or maybe she was weaseled in by another. She calls the shots now. She said she has sponsorship from what was it? We'll say the higher ups. She said she had approval from our sponsors. I don't like it. She runs the mines in a way that is uncouth, improper. Of course things break when I'm not there and she's in charge. There was a collapse. I heard someone got killed. Idiots. Obviously, without my supervision, something's bound to go wrong.
Speaking of which, why aren't you there today? You're the foreman, right?
Alzir told me to stay home. I do what he says.
Ah, I see.
But I had planned to visit there a little later. I was working on something, you see, and he gestures towards his workbench right in front of him with this mess of metal parts. My excavation spheres have all broken. They brought them back to me in pieces, furthering my displeasure with the situation. I was fixing
We
them.
didn't break those, right?
Huh?
You
I don't
tried
think it
to.
was Xalia. You tried to
She-
break them, but I
she
don't
wasn't
think you
trying.
were.
She was trying to like play with it, not break it. She just tried to. She got angry when it tried to attack her.
Didn't you start gnawing on it?
No.
You're like trying to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were particularly successful, so it wasn't us.
Yeah, it was an orb. She was curious. She wanted to ponder her orb as her right as a wizard.
They returned to me, my things, broken. I've learned quite a few things about repairing and other sparker mechanisms over the years, so I was applying my know-how to them, and I was going to visit them, I was going to visit the mines a little later to clear the collapse on my own. But I'm missing some key ingredients.
Well,
Are you
sorry. There have been some rumors recently that we've been heard around the city of various things being said about what's happening in the mine. So, would you happen to know about any of them? Rather unsavory things.
I can. Are you trying to like? Am I like picking up on your intent correctly? Where you're like trying to say that there's bad stuff, so he'll try to correct you.
I mean, I'm just seeing like what his take kind of is, like how he reacts to Makayla, I guess, trying to bring up,
Okay.
like, not, yeah, like she's not gonna like specifically reference any, like, you know, the human trafficking and whatnot, but she's just sort of like
The human trafficking.
kind of see like what his like bring up the subject and like see what his general vibe is when sort of when talking about it, you know.
I get you. Rumors. If anything, it is the rumor of what it could be. There's lots of unknowns down there, lots of secrets that we have yet to uncover. We haven't yet been able to excavate and truly get into there, because that is when the collapse happened.
We found Alzia's boy down there.
His eyes kind of narrow on you. What would a child be doing in a mine?
A fine question. He was being held captive.
You said you found the boy down there. Did you rescue him?
Of course. But there is more going on down there than you let on.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh boy.
Pastiche Gaming.
Hey, a 10. That's not bad.
Not bad.
We call that average.
Yeah. Toka kind of lifts his head just a bit. And he very, very specifically, it was not me. I had heard tale that they were planning to frame the blame on me, but I can assert that I had nothing to do with it.
Don't worry, I believe you. Just quite a detail to leave out.
I did not know where your allegiance lied, so therefore I could not give all of the less public details that might put a black spot on the honor of my friend's house.
Pastiche kind of squints at him, stares for a moment. Fair enough.
So you admit to knowing that this was happening within the mines?
This is true. I could not raise my hand against it, or they laid a threat down. They would harm not only Alzir's boy, but Alzir himself, and also someone that is important to me. Under such a threat, I could not move. Now that the boy is rescued, and their betting chip fumbled, I suppose you can see why they would choose to strike out against me. As you mentioned, this shapeshifter.
Hmm. What
Go ahead.
is ultimately, what are they looking for down there? All this money and technology being sent there to find something. Clearly, they found something, and it made them believe that there's something more.
He nods. You are not wrong. There is a great secret down there. One that it would seem that Feather and her cohort, and whomever she works for, would like to keep silent. Use it for their own gain. Myself and Alzir, we would like to see it made public. There is... He looks at you all for a moment. He rolls something. There are ruins down there, shall I say. Ruins suggesting another or a different civilization. I may be wrong, but that is how I see it. Before we could fully explore, fully discover, there was a collapse, and we had to hold off the investigation. This was not too long ago. In fact, what I was doing here was to clear that rubble. I get the feeling that you aim to go down there. If you are, I would surely be of benefit to you.
Well,
And to punctuate his statement, he takes a step back and taps, then rests his mighty hand on one of the gauntlets. This is my mining tool. Pickaxes, shovels, all terrible tools. This is the only thing mighty enough. And you can see now that he's touching it and where his hand is on multiple things, and your attention is drawn to it, it looks to be a massive pile bunker.
Okay.
That's
So
kind of amazing.
Rad.
You can see, like, as he's like kind of touching it and moving it, he obviously like puts his massive minotaur hand. He has two of them. His massive minotaur hand, and then there is a where once just seemed to be a pole. You can see it is a large spike, and it looks like it has a gripping mechanism that he can use to eject this pile bunker spike, and that's how he mines. And suddenly, the rhythmic pounding from your last venture into the mines makes sense.
Out of character, I feel like it would be incredibly funny to see someone mining with a pile bunker. Just fucking Slayer dandy stepping back and forth against the wall.
Incredibly awesome.
It's true. In character, Zoaz nods and says, "So you don't believe you'll be in danger from these, I suppose they're technically associates."
Shakes his head and goes back to crossing his arms. The only danger in that mine shaft that I may not be able to handle are the creatures that chased us out of that old ruined area in the first place and triggered the collapse.
The avian ones with sickle arms.
Oh. He raises an eyebrow. You're describing the hook horrors. No, they are small fry.
Zoaz raises an eyebrow, even higher than previous. And small fry?
We did not see many of them. We only saw two. They appeared to us in shadow. They came out of the water through some sort of water globule at the Ark in our excavation tunnel.
I see.
They appeared strong.
well, whether or not we plan to go down there. It's still being decided. But first and foremost, we only found Orion's son down there. Are there others that were taken and are being held in those mines?
I regret to say that I genuinely do not know if there are others. I was only aware of Kitlali. If they are down there, then they may be trapped with however many creatures that I described a moment ago. They may be trapped there with them. If they are to hide, then perhaps they are still safe. We were investigating large statues with strange phrases on them. I recall one was where the desert rose blows, or something like that. It did not make sense to me. And there was a mighty statue holding what looked like a saucer or a brazier or something like that. It was at that point we had to run. And some of them are left behind. Or I do not believe that anyone has been able to be moved down there, if that was what your question was.
Our original plans for the day was we were planning to go to Lady Vasarako and inform her of what we had seen in the mines ourselves. But things have changed, but...
Zoaz interrupts and says, though, be aware, we had indeed talked to Alir, and we did not plan to leave out the information that it was not of his volition, that such unsavory things were happening in his minds.
Kind of looks curiously at Makayla. Is today your first day here? Yae Vasarako is not in office.
Kayla kind of squints.
She left the other day saying that, or with report that she had to move to Tenyuto on emergency summons. If you had intended to speak with her today, you would find the bird not in office. And only her squawking bare-chested accomplices.
How long have we been in the city again? How many days?
You've been
Just
in
a couple days.
You've been in the city a couple days. Well, more like a few days. Twig and Chuman, roll history checks, please. Okay, Twig. Chuman, you don't remember, but Twig, you remember Chuman telling you that King stopped off the morning after you and Pastiche were assaulted, trying to rescue Freels. Chuman came to, and he told you that King came to him first and said that Tenyuto was the victim of an earthquake and flooded, and he and Yae Vasaraka were going to go check it out.
Oh, Twig will remind the rest of the party about this information.
I don't think Makayla was ever even informed of that, actually.
Same. And Zoaz will look at Twig and say, and you did not inform us when we saw her in the city just minutes ago?
Just remember.
It slipped my mind, but we figured it out quickly enough that what was going on.
That is true.
Okay, well.
Zoaz puts one hand over his face and sort of like pinches at, kind of at his muzzle, like when someone pinches at the bridge of their nose.
Chuman and I... Sorry, go ahead.
And he just sighs.
Chuman and I weren't exactly in the most perceptive state of mind when we learned that info.
That is true. It has been a long couple days.
You can see the surliness in Toka's countenance soften a bit as the look of slight bemusement softens his face. It seems to me that you could use all the help that you can get.
Zoaz looks up and sort of tilts his head up. And how do you plan on helping us?
Well, it strikes me as you have a desire to stop Feather. I have no love for her either. She's been trying to cuddle up against me, and I am not one to enjoy her advances. Her and her cohort need to go on. They are bad for this city. It seems that you have a desire to put a stop to her as well. I am happy to take your party downstairs, since the collapse is difficult to clear by people that do not have a certain strength. He looks at all of your arms.
All of our -1 strength scores.
All of your like inverse cartoon droopy muscles.
Uh-huh.
Xalia doesn't have muscles right now. She has tar and bones.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I take offense to that. Zoaz has +1 strength.
Whoa.
I'm a high roller.
And his gaze lingers on your tar and bones for a bit, Xalia.
Uh-huh.
Trying to comprehend it for a moment. And then he continues his sentence.
Anyway.
Our excavation glyphs would be of particular use here. I can inscribe one for you, so that we can use it with one of my newly repaired spheres. But it would seem that perhaps your meeting is also of fortune to me. I need some flint. And there is a woman in Baskar that has the precise flint that I need. Could I trouble you to go get it?
And you need this flint for your repairs, yes?
He nods. That is true. For the repair of my spheres, and also for And he moves back and he taps the pile bunker gauntlet. And also for these babies.
And Zoaz shrugs, looks to the group, and says, "Well, I, for one, am willing to go."
So we are to go get this flint, you repair your machines, and then we go down into the mines?
You would be
Am I getting this correct?
That is true. You would be the first to see this great secret that it would seem that you would at least like to learn what it is that Feather and her cohort are trying to keep you from seeing.
Well, I'm curious, but
At this point, it doesn't seem like we can do much else.
I suppose. Oh, wait, there was. Reminds me, there was another going down into the mines looking for something. A mouse, I believe. Do you know of them?
It sure does.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. Whew,
High rolls
27
only.
again.
A 27. Okay, so you can see his head lower, and he snores like, "I do. That mouse. She is too involved for her own good. I've been trying to keep her safe and out of Feather's gaze by catching her before the other one does. I've been trying to warn her by saying that she's been breaking rules of trespassing. Why do you bring her up?"
We cross-passed our way into the mines, and we retreated with the boy, and we retreated with the boy while she continued further deeper. Last we saw her, she headed into them on her own. Curious where she stood within all of this.
He places a hand on the on the workbench closest to him and looks down. Then I have failed. My efforts to keep her safe by keeping her from going down there were in vain then. I suppose that changes my answer to your original earlier question. Mouse may be down there, and she may be in danger.
Well, then I suppose we should get some flint.
But before we go, it may be wise to have a watchword of sorts, so that token may know that we are who we say we are, and not the shapeshifter coming after him.
He seems attentive.
Do you have any recommendations, my friend?
He thinks for a moment. Looks around the room. His eyes settle on his boxing gloves. Then he turns back to you. The word is Rizar.
Rizar. Noted.
Yeah. Like that. He makes a point to spell it.
Okay. At having memorized the word, Zoaz will then ask as well. And the location of this woman with the flint?
He nods. There is a shop named Trace Elements, run by a woman named Three. She won't talk to me, but maybe she'll answer you. It is located where all the other shops are, on the Julta Ring. Gird your loins. Meet me back here. I have repairs to do. Let's not dally.
If she does not answer to us,
then I guess we'll have to make do. And it will be more difficult from there.
We will try not to mention you.
I've been taught how to make slapdash repairs on broken items. But it really is best if you have the correct materials.
Alright then. I suppose we shall get going. Zoaz looks around to the rest of the group.
Nod.
Chuman nods.
very well.
And Zoaz makes for the door.
Just be careful, Toka. That shapeshifter is still after you. Not that I don't think you can handle yourself.
Do be warned, they do appear to be willing to work with others. They seem to have hired a whole bunch of gnolls to attack us. So be safe. Hopefully we won't be long.
He nods. I will knock them out before the count even starts. Or wait, no, I'm so stupid. Alright, so he didn't say that because what he just said was stupid. He instead says the fight will be over before the bell even starts or finishes ringing.
Probably best to not fight at all and simply try to stay inside and stay holed up. But either way, we'll be back.
He snorts and gives you like a little wave. Alright.
So let's get going.
So we all head out?
Yep.
Indeed.
Xalia will, scrabble out, joints backwards, head backwards.
Okay.
Naturally, as one does.
You do catch Toka kind of like looking at you with a scrutinizing look, like kind of like a howl. And devoid of any kind of like fear or anything like that. And he's just like, huh, yep, all right then.
Adventurers, am I right?
Adventurers, am I right? You get the sense that he is just kind of like filing it away in his brain, and he may have interacted quite a bit with other shapeshifters. Just based on his reaction alone. Easy to put that together. Alright, so you guys are now outside Toka's apartment. You have a destination. You have yourselves.
let's head to the trace elements.
Mhm.
Okay.
Just I guess like as we walk out, I feel like Makayla would, just try and scan the surroundings, make sure nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Sort of like.
Are the mercenaries still there waiting for us? Try to get more.
Wow, I'm rolling
Yeah,
well.
that's a perception check, and yeah, you are rolling out of your mind today. Nice 23. All right, so Makayla, you scrutinize the area. You peer through the dust.
Mhm.
The mercenaries are long gone. You do see people kind of like moving, to and fro, just going about their daily business. No one seems to pay you any mind. Like every once in a while, your group, since there's 6 of you all together, just kind of like moving along. You get maybe like a side glance, but it seems like there are many people just busy. They're moving goods. You see the odd merchant with a raptor, leading a raptor around. Many miners, or what people appear to be miners, carrying mining picks, moving to and from platforms. There's always this dust layer. You don't really see anybody giving you any like strange looks or following you. You do see like an orange calico cat leap onto a platform along with some miners, and it rides down with them.
Lucky miners. Alright,
Yeah.
cool.
And of course, many other things that are kind of assumed information. Like you see some other like random animals as you cast your watchful gaze. There's stairs leading up between different levels of the dusty spiral. The candles that are illuminating everywhere, and just many other kind of like basic information.
Okay.
Okay. So
I suppose we had better get going.
Indeed.
And Zoaz will start off.
all right. Make a survival check, Zoaz.
Come on.
It suddenly occurs to you that you don't know where the Julta ring is
I
located.
used my inspiration to re-roll that die.
Actually, same.
Okay.
Do not feel like dealing with getting lost. There we go.
All right, that 22 is much better than an 8.
It's true.
I was
So-
expecting the 1.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
I would simply not be blinded.
All right, Zoaz. So you head. So the city is basically just concentric circles, right?
Mhm.
You head east, or you head in a clockwise motion, just bloop 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 bloop, before suddenly you stop. Alert! You look around, and then you about face and start
Yup.
heading in a counterclockwise motion. And so you maneuver past a couple more apartments in this residential district before you make your way to a stairwell similar to the one that the mercenaries led you down, and you recall your knowledge of being in Baskar before, shuttling people around, and you follow this spiral staircase around, and you head down one more level, and you are in the Julta ring, and looking around, your excellent guide roll, your excellent Moonlight Shepherd roll. It doesn't take you long to find the shop of your destination. It is a simple thing to look at from the outside, but you know you have arrived from a small wooden sign that is hung on 2 chains, just kind of swinging back and forth with, trace elements carved into it fancily, with a square bordering the word trace. So it's TRE accent to Q S elements. It has a pitched gray roof. It's got tan walls and supportive beams framing everything that makes up the shape of this one-story shop. It's got a door that looks like a size too big. And here you are. Just for a change of scenery, let's put you guys elsewhere on the map. Just for a change of scenery. But here you are outside Trace Elements.
Zoaz makes his way in.
Okay. So you all head in. Stepping inside. Let me get you over here. Stepping inside, you are greeted with a cheery feeling. There's rocks everywhere. Only rocks. There's baskets of rocks, boxes of rocks, buckets of rocks, bowls of rocks, barrels of rocks, all shapes, colors, and sizes. The place is overlit with candles, and there's like a large window to the right that's letting in the natural light of Khorzaire. This flickering candlelight glints off of the wares, giving it a somewhat sparkly showcase. When you step in, there's a distant sound of a chiming bell, and then there's a movement at a desk situated towards the rear of the shop that catches your eye. And standing up is a creature obviously of the void.
Oh my god.
A tabaxi that appears to absorb light into their fur, except for the two heterochromatic eyes. One sky blue and one a buttercup yellow, and two snowy ears on the top of her head that are poking through a fashionable hood. She waves excitedly at you with one paw, the other banging repeatedly on a desk bell, just ding 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 ding.
Hello, friend. I believe you here are the owner of this establishment. Would you happen to have any flint?
She nods excitedly, spreads her arms wide in a welcoming gesture, like flashing this dual-fanged smile. And she puts one paw on the desk and hops over it. Zoop. And she lands to the ground with a muted puff as her paws hit the wood and walks towards you. She's not as tall as she just was. She comes up to maybe Twig's chest.
To Twig's chest? Oh my god. What's that supposed to mean?
She has a brown kind of like dual button satchel slung around her body, kind of like a messenger bag, and she has a her red and white velvety robe appears a little too big for her, and it makes clothing noises when she moves. And she kind of like flops towards you guys. This is 3, the proprietor of Trace Elements. She smiles, this big wide fang smile, holds up 3 digits of her paw, and then with both of her paw digits, she then makes a square and waves, and then gives. She has brought her desk bell with her, and she gives it two rings. Ding ding.
Xalia waves back, except she's gonna make her bones wiggle.
All right.
Aren't you just adorable? Makayla just says.
She looks at you, even though you said it kind of quietly. You can see like her ears kind of twitch, and she looks at you and nods.
Hello. We are here to purchase some Flint? So, I don't believe we know how much we need. Just realizing that now.
Okay. She nods at you and gestures around. You can see that there's signs that showcase like moving sale, 50% off, or half off, or other similar messages. And then she points at you all, and then gestures again towards the rest of the shop. And then she holds up one finger, and then kind of like toddles off to some seemingly random direction in the shop.
Okay.
Zoaz, slightly stunned, just kind of like starts walking in that same direction, and kind of looks back at the rest of the group and shrugs, and then continues walking.
Yeah, Twig would follow.
Xalia will follow.
All right, so she arrives at she arrives at a crate of rocks, and she moves it aside, and behind it is another crate of rocks, and she's digging through. Like there's pieces of there's pieces of rock going everywhere. She's like just cartoon style, just bloop 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 bloop, and she brings up. And she has in her hand, in her paw, just like a big, kind of like baseball-sized, chunky, irregular-shaped rock that you can, as adventurers, identify as Flintstone. She beams you a smile, and then thrusts it in the air towards you guys.
Wait, did she actually just toss it?
No, she's holding it.
Oh, okay.
She's like holding it above your head, kind of like. Bloop.
How is she above our head?
No,
Above
like
her head.
she's
She's
above
holding it
her
above her
head.
head.
Oh, okay. Xalia will kneel down and reach out her hand.
Is there a price tag anywhere?
In this shop, you'll need a perception check.
That's what I figured.
One of those.
Oh
It looks like all the prices are just jumbling together. The only thing you can see is 50% off. That's the only consistent message around here.
50% off sounds good to me.
Limb end to infinity, 0.5 to the end.
It's just one piece of flint. How expensive can it be?
Xalia, as you hold out your hand, 3 looks at you and turns the rock over. So now she's holding it palm up in her paw, and she holds up, 1 digit, waggles it, 2 digits, waggles it, 3 digits, and she looks like she has a quizzical expression on her face.
Xalia is going to think for a moment and then kind of tentatively put out a questioning 5 fingers out, 5 little skeleton fingers.
You can see, you can see like you can see the blue and the buttercup eye kind of widen a bit, and her mouth kind of like turns into like a circle where she might be saying "oh," and she tosses the irregular shaped flintstone into your hand. In the same motion, she's turning around and fetching more flint.
Oh yeah.
She
That's right.
there's like a quick second, and she turns around and she makes a gesture where she has her paws palm together in front of her, and she expands them vertically, looks at you quizzically, and then expands them horizontally, looks at you quizzically.
Can I run that by me again?
In front of her, she has her paws kind of like pads together in front of her, and then she expands them away from each other vertically, and then she puts them together again and expands them away from each other horizontally.
Xalia just kind of stare blankly and blink a little.
While this exchange is going on, Pastiche is going to be on the other side of the shop, thumbing through some rocks.
Okay. Make a rock check.
Got it.
Survival.
It's nature. Nature or Arcana, your choice.
Well, pretty easy choice.
Alright, a 10 is
Pretty sure.
a 10's fine. A 10's fine. So Pastiche, while this charade is going on, Pastiche, you find a it is a small tub, sort of like a weaver. It's not like a straw basket, but it's like that straw material. I don't know what it's called. It's like basalt wood. Sorry, not basalt wood. Basalt wood, whatever it's called. The kind. Well, here. This is what I think of. It's like an apple basket. That kind.
Okay.
Like thatch. What is it called? Thatchery? Thatch?
Yeah, thatching.
Okay. You find that kind of container holding
Alright.
holding rocks, and these all appear to be polished orbs. They are perfectly circular, and next to you, you can find a sign that says, "We're moving, half off." And then looking at them, you do sense a twinge of magic from every single orb that you find in this basket. They are different colors. They are greens, reds, yellows, a few different shades of purples. There's one the same color as the flint. Make a perception check.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine too. Wondering, just what these are. You take a look at the basket, and sort of hidden away with the angle of how the basket is made, you didn't see it at first. You find a label. How helpful. The label describes that these are ward orbs.
Aw.
So helpfully you get that you get that label, but unhelpfully that appears to be the only thing written on it.
Okay. Pastiche is going to take a green one and a purple one.
Okay. You now have these
And
two things in your
pocket
hand. And I'm sorry, what was it? I think we started.
Pocket them.
Oh, okay. Pocket them.
Yeah.
Like, are you
Wow.
are you engaging in thievery?
Maybe.
I like it.
Okay, well, make a sleight of hand check, sir.
Dang.
Oh my god. Those deft artist hands.
Okay. Let's see here. Hold on, let me look something up real quick.
Okay.
Of all the people to commit crime, who would predict that it was gonna be Pastiche?
Yeah.
Did you think it would be someone else?
Okay.
I don't know, maybe thought it would be the people who were maybe thinking of trying to steal a painting.
All right, Pastiche, you get a moment where 3 is engaged with making elaborate gestures with Xalia and the rest of the people, and you kind of like position yourself in a way where your intentions are not immediately scrutable, and you deftly pluck these two and quickly shove them in your robes. What'd you say? A green one and a purple one?
Yeah.
All right. For now, write that down in your inventory.
All right. Cool.
And then we return to we return to 3 making motions that change the size of the distance between her paws.
I think
and then pointing
That's
at
for how big?
and then pointing to the flint.
Xalia is gonna kind of shrug, and then she's gonna pull out, just because she has this offhand, she's gonna pull out 20 gold, and then just kind of head tilt.
All right. 3 sees this. Her ears flutter, and her eyes go wide, like wider than they should be able to go. And
I love the shapeshifter to mute shapeshifter communication.
you can see like this fanged. You can see her fangs peeking out in her widened expression, and she just goes to town on this desk bell that she has. Ding 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 ding, ding, and then she dives into this basket. She throws a bunch of rocks out of the basket into another barrel, and then she takes the basket, turns around, and then thrusts the basket towards you. It is full of flint.
Xalia is going to make hands to get, bony, literal bone hands together, please noise, rictus grin on her fucking skull face. And just kind of jump a little bit, reach out tentatively to pet 3 on the head.
Okay. Is 3 still holding the basket? Like you haven't taken it from her?
Not yet.
Okay. 3 cannot resist you because she is holding a very heavy basket of rocks.
And 3 is going to get pet on the head a little bit. Scratch behind the ears.
Okay.
And then Xalia will attempt to take the basket and probably drop it immediately.
Yeah, it is extremely heavy. What is your strength stat? Your attribute?
8.
Slam! It goes to the ground. It is heavier than you originally thought. 3 was putting a lot of her effort into it to make it look like she was strong. And then when it goes slam, thud into the ground, 3 makes an exaggerated motion of throwing her hands on her knees and bending over, and then moving her back and forward as if she's taking heavy breaths. And then she holds out her paw.
Xalia will drop the 20 gold right there,
Okay.
and kind of just give another little bow.
She's
She's then gonna walk straight up to Makayla.
She curls the gold in her digits, thrusts it in her little messenger bag satchel, and then she dips. She dips into the back real quick, and you can hear shuffling and scooting, and just overall clunk noises. And you all have maybe a few seconds to yourself before she returns.
Xalia is staring at Makayla.
Are we sure we need this much flint for Toka?
Probably not, but we have it now, I suppose.
Better too much than too little.
Okay.
Out of character, exactly that. That was her thought process.
Well,
You can hear
It's
you can
just
hear the
funny.
scraping of wood on wood, like, and
though I have a feeling that might not be all that we paid for.
this void tabaxi. You can see like the ears poking, her ears poking out from over the top of the barrel, but you cannot see her face, and she is pushing this barrel into view, into the rest of the shop. She proudly slaps the top of the barrel, and she makes a motion of dipping her paw into the pocket of her robe, but you hear a snapping noise, and then with a poof, she's holding up a sort of like an angular strip of paper. It looks like a sign. She's holding up a sign, and it just has a circle on it. And then peeking out from behind the barrel is 3.
Wait, what? Sorry, what just happened?
She is, from when she was holding nothing, she's now holding a sign with a circle on it and smiling at you.
Is the barrel open?
The barrel's currently closed, but you can see it's not bolted.
Okay.
Mikhail's like tentatively, go. I guess look, sort of open up the barrel and just kind of like it is almost like a defeated way. It's like, well, I hope this isn't all just one, but it probably is. She has to make sure, you know.
The barrel that is as tall as Twig, you open it up. It's all flint.
What?
Ding 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 ding.
Gold worth of flint.
There's many different shapes. There's many different sizes of each flintstone. But yeah, it's all there.
I don't believe any of us have a way to transport this, so I don't think we can take this. Fortunately,
You can see, like, as you're forming the sentence, 3's ears droop, and her countenance goes into this pitiful look of, oh.
I don't believe we actually need this much either. So how much was like the? So there was like a basket, right? So it was like the one she initially brought out, a basket, and then this whole barrel, right? That's the flint.
Yeah, the different the different amounts of flint that you have been presented is a single flintstone, a basket of flint, and now a barrel of flint. And it would seem that this all is taken care of within 20 gold. Half off.
Half off. Oh my god. Oh man, I mean, Makayla doesn't know much about technology, but there's no way it needs that much flint.
We're gonna give them a stockpile.
How are we gonna carry this flint?
I don't know, melee fighter.
Oh. None of us are melee fighters.
Well, if you give me a moment.
I mean, Pastiche can make more of himself.
This sounds like a job
Jokingly.
for Andy.
Three looks at you all discussing, and when Pastiche pipes up, seeming that he has an idea, Three raps on her bell, ding 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 ding, and points at Pastiche.
Pastiche approaches the counter and begins making circular motions in the air with their fingers. This goes on for a while. A minute, a few minutes. 10 minutes pass. And an inky brown platform appears.
Whoa.
You have you have captured Three's attention for the entire 10 minutes, and she's watching you. And then when this finishes, and you have an inky, could you describe this inky platform a little bit more? Sorry.
It's round and black, covered in like transparent, ornate patterns. It's extra, is how I would describe it. Ultimately, it's just a disc, but there's a lot of care put into it.
Okay.
Did it? Just curious. Yeah, wait, it's one action. So you, like, really took your time making this?
Ritual cast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, can you ritual cast?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
natural.
Oh, ritual. I thought ritual was like an hour.
It's whatever it is plus or times 10.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was plus 10 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
So it took exactly 10 minutes and 6 seconds.
Oh.
Got it. Okay.
You can see Three excitedly, like, she looks at it from underneath, and then looks at it, kind of like tests it, and looks at you. She looks at you kind of quizzically, and then she goes into her robe, and then you hear like a snap, and then she pulls out a sign similar to before, but has a question mark on it.
Pastiche is going to attempt to lift the Barrel of Flint.
Probably best to just simply tip it over and put your disc underneath it and then sort of push it on, rather than lift this thing.
Ah, clever. Pastiche says, straining.
Real life job coming into play.
Okay, so what do you do?
Effectively, so you tilt it sort of at like a 45-degree angle to get the disc mostly underneath it, and then you sort of tip it back over and then push the rest of it until it's fully on. You know, sort of
Okay.
you get the disc under it, and then you just sort of like let it go back to horizontal and push it the rest of the way until that way you never actually have to lift anything. It doesn't. Yeah, trust me, this is a very, very brutal thing to do with heavy boxes.
Okay.
Then Pastiche will press the disc against the floor while Makayla does the tilting.
Okay.
Sure.
You can see the fourth wall shatters, and Three takes your spellbook real quick and deletes the first sentence in the second paragraph.
Oh. Is a mole while you're in a... Wait, what? I never... Wait, that's part of it?
Okay, so one moment.
Can I carry
What do you mean? We got a way to carry it right here.
Okay.
Do we?
Reread
Yeah.
the spell.
That's pretty good. Love it.
All right. So when this happens, you can see this void cat tabaxi. She's watching this shipping sensation in front of her. She nods triumphantly, as if she had done it herself, and then taps Pastiche and like taps on your side, like and in attention getting kind of maneuver, just like boop boop, like hey, and then she what does she do? Oh yeah, okay, so she's just gonna give you a thumbs up.
Cool. Pastiche kind of cranes his neck over without turning his body and gives her a smile.
Alright. 3 also, after this is done, looks around at all of you and gestures toward the rest of the shop and tilts her head and then points to a sign that says, we're relocating, half off. And then she gestures to herself with both paws, gestures to her chest, and then holds up a paw to try to collect all of your attention. And she jabs a paw at herself, and then holds out 2 digits over an open palm paw, and makes like a walking motion, and then points at all the rocks, and makes a carrying motion, and then throws her arms on the ground and looks exasperated, and then points at you all, and then points at the half off sign again. And then smiles. This big fang smile.
Oh, as much as I really would love to help, unfortunately we only needed the flint and much less than what we ended up getting. We really don't have time to help, and I don't think we can take any more rock even if we wanted to.
She, upon hearing this, she holds her chin in one paw and then crosses her arms and taps 1 digit against her cheek. With each tap, there's like this thought bubble that grows from the side of her head, and then with another tap, another thought bubble joins it, and they each get bigger and bigger. And then she takes 1 paw, slams it into an open paw, and points at all of your armaments and your weapons and your staves, and then she rushes over to the basket that Pastiche was just at, and grabs like a few colored rocks, like 2 in each paw. Like she's got a red one and a blue one and like a green one and another flint colored one, and then holds them up and then tilts her head. And then, and then she, as if to demonstrate what they do, she like puts them like, she curls them into herself like a hug, and then she holds up the red one, and then points close to it, and just like a shower of fiery sparks show next to it. And then she holds up a green one, and then points, and there's like a puff of like poisonous looking, like sickly green smoke puffing, and then she kind of like hides from it, like holding her head with her arms, and then she changes her stance to a heroic looking stance, and then holds out the labeled ward orbs. And then points to the half-off sign.
Zoaz kind of looks at her for a moment, and then just kind of like confusedly, like, you know when someone sees something that they just cannot comprehend and they like shake their head while like stepping back? Zoaz is doing that. Dude does not understand what he just saw.
Chuman is just lost to seeing the theatrics that Trey has put on.
I guess Makayla. Makayla's heart is just like melting at this cat. She's fallen for the sales pitch. I think she probably would. Yeah, she would. I guess say. Well, I suppose. I guess. Do these protect against elements? Is that what you're trying to say?
Ding 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 ding. The lobby bell is going off, and she runs up to you and like points at you, and then like she's looking at the other group while waggling a paw digit at you.
Then I suppose one they can't hurt to have.
Twig looks at... Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you about to say?
And Twig looks at the orbs, and he remembers the time he picked a lock, and the time before that, and the time before that, and then he looks at 3 and says, "How much for 10 of the green ones?"
Do they?
She makes like an exaggerated kind of like moving her head back, like, and then thinks for a moment, and then you can see her counting. And then she holds out. She goes in her satchel and she picks out 5 platinum coins, and then she taps the top of them, or like she holds them kind of like together, and then she taps the top of them 10 times.
Zoaz coughs.
Okay, I was kind of shocked.
Because you asked for 10 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what she does.
Chuman chuckles after seeing that. Well, that is 50% off, Twig.
Are we sure that's
Is that including the sale?
Three nods like vigorously, and then she points at she points at a sign that says half off, moving sale.
I'd better just take one.
She smiles and then like fishes a. You held up a green one, right?
Yes.
Okay. She fishes. Hang on 1 second. Let me double check these orbs. Which one's the... Okay. She fishes out 2 orbs. They are slightly different tints or shades from each other. and she's holding one higher than the other, and then she shifts and holds the other higher than the other.
I assume one is for acid and one is for poisons.
Maybe.
She shakes her head and then puts the other one in, or puts one of them. It's puts like the lighter green in the basket, and then holds up one orb, and then she kind of like waggles it in the air, and smiles wide. Ding ding. And seeing no immediate reaction, she snaps her fingers twice, and there's like a skull and crossbones on one side. It dissipates, and then there's like a sort of like melty drip on the other side, and it dissipates.
Ah, for both.
Ding 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 ding. She holds up like she holds up that sign again. Like it just comes out of nowhere. It's always preceded by a snap, and she like goes into her robe, snap, and then brings out the sign. It's got a circle on it.
50% off and 2 for 1. I can't afford not to buy it. How much did you
Not
say
be
it
able
was
to
again?
afford buying it either, friend.
When Twig asks how much it was, 3 goes into her bag, and then holds out 5 platinum pieces, and then she closes her paw, and then she opens it again, and then there's 5 platinum pieces being held between. She has 5 digits being held between the gaps in each of them. So you get the idea that it costs 50 gold. Or 5
Twig.
platinum.
Twig kind of grimaces as he counts out the gold from his bag, but he hands over the 50 gold and takes the orb.
Okay.
I'll take one of those red ones, if you please.
Alright. And then, let's see here. Sorry, I got distracted looking at blurry stuff. So transaction completed between Twig and 3?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, so it's 50 gold. She gives, let's see here. In your inventory, you now have a Scarn Orb of Shielding. Attached, like, 3 with her just... her paw that defies all like physics of illumination, that seems to just absorb light into it. This void paw hands you a note that describes what it does. And she also holds out a red one to Pastiche, and there's like a click of her claws, and then there's like a little spark of fire in the air, and she smiles at you, tilts her head.
Pastiche nods and hands her 5 platinum pieces.
Okay. As 5 of Denota's platinum pieces go into the satchel, she gives you this ward orb that she calls it. So in your inventory you can now find a Basalt Orb of Shielding.
Alright.
Orb? Oops, sorry, I didn't drop it. There we go. She has now brought this apple basket of rocks and like set it on top of the barrel, and she's looking at the rest of the party. She kind of like swirls the rocks around with her paw and looks at you all expectantly.
No thank you, my friend.
I shall have to pass.
she gives Zoaz, who has refused nearly all of her pitches, like this kind of like squinty-eyed, like scrunchy-eyed look, and then kind of like waves her, like she waves her paw in front of her nose, and then looks and and then stops and looks around at anybody else.
Is there? Hold on. Would there be like a hold on.
You have the focused attention
of
of a small-statured
a
tabaxi.
purple?
You said a purple one?
Yeah.
She
Purple psychic. That's Pokemon logic right there.
she holds out. She digs and
I guess it could be
she
thunder.
takes out 3 different colored purple.
I guess that would be, yeah. Huh. Oh, wait, hold on.
She's momentarily distracted by how they roll, and like you catch it, like she puts them on and like it rolls a little bit, and then you can see like her hunting instincts just immediately an involuntary kick on, and she goes ha! But she doesn't make any noise. She just like reaches out, claws extended, and grabs it, and then rakes it back. And then having caught her prey, she looks back at you, and she has returned to being fluffy. They are.
I don't know how to like say this. This is like a kind of a metagamey thing.
That's fine. If you want to just say psychic damage.
Yeah, like ideally psychic damage. I think is
Okay.
ultimately what I, the player, would want to get.
Okay, so you ask her for something to shield your mind from attacks.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. She actually puts all 3 purple orbs back into the basket, and
Oh no.
and she shakes her head and then like waggles a paw digit at you, and takes out a yellow one, and produces a sign preceding with a snap sound, and then holds out an angular sign with a circle on it, and she holds a yellow orb out to you.
I'll hand over. Oh god. I'll hand over 5 platinum, right?
Yep, 5 platinum or 50 gold, or
Yep.
500 silver, 5,000 copper.
I converted everything I have to platinum, so.
Okie dokie.
What is that in Electrum?
In Electrum, that's get out of this establishment.
Now, what color is force?
Twig, when you mention Electrum, she looks at you and like gives you this like squinchy face and kind of like waves her paw in front of her nose. So in your inventory, you have a marble orb of shielding for psychic.
Neat.
Did you want force too?
Sure, yeah. I literally searched
Wait, she
color
put
of force.
red?
I looked up orbs of shielding, and force is one of them in D&D.
Okay. So she pulls out a green twinge of orb, and you can see that it's made from chert, and she holds it up. It's in front of her face for a moment and like blocks her face from view, so it looks like a hood. So it looks like this orb is wearing a hood with cat ears, and then she peeks out from the side of it. And then her ears twitch.
These could really only reduce at max 7 damage, but you know, how could you resist? Yeah, sure. Another hands over another 5.
Okay. In your inventory is a Shale Orb of Shielding.
Alright, and then Makayla will kind of get like a hold of herself and realize we shouldn't be. We don't have time for idle bartering. We really do have to go. So, and looks back at the large barrel of flint, and we do appreciate all of this, and hope your move goes well. You seem to be a very resourceful entrepreneur. I'm sure you'll figure something out.
She nods and smiles and kind of like clasps her paws together and bows a bit, and then her face lights up again, and she has a paw open, palm up, and then brings a closed paw down into it in like an aha motion, and then she runs over, and then like she's pointing at a cube, but clearly a rock. It looks like it might be made out of quartz from your position. She points at it, and then she grabs it, or she points at it while looking at you all, and then she grabs it and brings it over to you guys, and then holds it out to you, Makayla, and tilts her head. This this cube, like you take a look at it, and it looks to be like it's made out of. Takes you a moment. Then you realize that it seems to be made out of brimstone, and it has a slight kind of like sulfuric smell to it.
Yeah, I'd pick it up and look at it, I suppose.
Okay, you pick it up.
I'd say like, what is this?
In your hand, it is you can immediately get a sense of warmth, but it's not hot. But it appears to be just always warm, no matter where you are.
Oh.
It's like this little 3-inch cube, so it's just constantly warm. And as you look back at 3, she has this proud look on her face, hands on her hips. And then she exaggeratedly brings one of her paws, thumb first, around in this big circle motion and points at herself.
Sorry, what?
Yep. And then, seeing that you don't immediately get it, she kind of, like, you can see her, if you could see her features, if they weren't just void, if they weren't just void cat, you could see her kind of like furrow her brow, and then think for a moment. The thought bubble clouds come again, and then she kind of ahas and raises a paw, and then she looks around. She just grabs like a hammer that's on the desk, and then
you made this? Is that what you're
takes
saying?
a rock. She starts like banging on it, and then once you say that, she looks at you again excitedly and nods. Ding 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 ding.
I just want to let you know, I'm imagining everything she does in like Animal Crossing character emotes.
Definitely.
That's what's happening in my mind. Is this really shouldn't be? We really can't buy anything else. I'm sorry. And Kayla sort of starts to hand it back.
She'll take it out and then cross your arms and then like give an exaggerated
Your arms.
What did I say?
Cross your arms.
Oh, oops. She takes it back and crosses her arms,
There we go.
and gives like an exaggerated lift of her torso, and then lets it drop. and turns away slightly, puffs her nose up.
Zoaz has walked out the door.
And then 3 moves back and sets it down, and then looks at you all. She seems to take a deep breath. She's got like a longing gaze on all of you, and then
Someone has to just pull Makayla out, or she will buy that stupid rock of. It's like a cube of warming. I know what this is. It's not even anything useful.
and then
Xalia is going to smile and wave back, and then also shapeshift around. Like the fucking skull is gonna pull back into the tar, and she's gonna smile back with a void face. Like just kind of mirroring.
all right.
Chuman is enjoying this too much.
Let's see. It's just something you can do. Like I want to see a performance roll, but it doesn't matter because you can just do this. But all right, never mind.
Okay.
So you have blown this Tabaxi's mind. She, like you can see her eyes like light up and go huge, like super wide. Her ears move back a bit, and her arms have moved behind her, like she's like, oh, and then suddenly she points at you, and then ding 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 ding, and then points at your void tabaxi face, and then points at her own void tabaxi face,
And is gonna like grin and nod.
Oh no.
And Minor are losing her own set of ding 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 ding.
True clown to clown communication.
Alright, so in this room there are now two sets of bells just going hand. Ding 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 ding.
I assume Zoaz can hear this very quietly from outside.
Yes.
Oh. Zoaz is going to poke his head back in.
Okay. At the moment that you poke your head back in, 3 has leapt forward and given Xalia a hug.
Xalia will hug her back.
Oh.
And then, yeah, this big squeeze is just for a moment, because, and then, then moves back, flicks her ears, and, she looks at you guys, and and then one moment while I think about this.
While you're thinking about that, Zoaz will say, friends, I will remind you, we do have some place to be. Time is of the essence.
Finally, sort of snapping out of the entrancement, I guess. Okay, that kind of like looks, looks out the window and realizes or out the door, realizes how much time has passed. It's like, but she is very she is embarrassed how much focus, how sort of distracted she got, and sort of very sheepishly yes, you're right. I suppose we need to go. Thank you so much for your patronage. And sort of wait.
3 nods at you. Xalia, you see, after 3 nods at Makayla, you can see her leap over the desk, and behind the desk you can see like a row of just unassuming rocks that look like anything that you would pick up on the ground, except these are slightly different. Previously your attention has been on this tabaxi and just elsewhere in the store, so now that she's grabbing one off of this shelf, you can see that attached to the rock is something of a costume, and she places it, or attempts to give it to you, and then places it towards you. This rock has sort of like miniature lensless glasses. It has a mustache. and like a pair of like little sewn pant legs with shoes, like little kind of like cloth shoes sewn to it. And 3 is giving you this.
They will attempt to put it on immediately.
Okay. You now have a pet rock.
Nice. Oh wait, like it's a costumed rock, not a costume attached to.
Yeah, it's a costumed rock. It is
Okay.
a pet rock.
I like to imagine when you said put it on, you just put it on your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, dude. Not the
And then-
Paper Mario pet rock.
And she'll take out a platinum piece and then hold it like in the air and then kind of like wave towards it and then put the platinum piece away. And then smiles.
Xalia will smile back.
And I think 3's sensing the end of her interaction with these interesting adventurers will tap the side of the barrel, tap the side of the basket, and then look around, not see the lone flintstone, and then look at you all and wave bye.
A pleasure doing business with you, friend. Pastiche will grab the basket and leave.
And the floating disc will fall.
Alright. You can see as you all exit this lovely, sparkly shop with the candles glinting off every piece of rock. You can see this. Tabaxi clothed in red and white robes with her little snow white ears poking out with ear fluff. She's like standing on her tippy toes, waving at you all with one hand very high in the air. And as soon as you get out and you're back in Baskar, the Dusty Spiral, that feeling of ease, the feeling of, fluffiness is replaced with a dusty city. Whew. And we're gonna take a break there. Hey.
10 out of 10.
Hour-long shopping session.
Xalia made a friend.
Wait, you just have to make sure you have your time with a Animal Crossing character.
Pastiche legally purchased an orb.
It is
And
true.
illegally took 2 more.
What?
Let's see.
He earned those orbs.
Alright,
What?
so you got
What
a
award? I bought one.
so green and purple. We do that while we're taking a break. So we'll come back at the 10-minute mark. So 9:10, 10:10, or 8:10 if one of you are. No, sorry, 7:10 if you're Pacific.
Gotcha.
Cool.
All right, and
Sounds
then
good.
Pastiche. Let's see, you got a green one. Flip me a coin, and then roll me a d3. Okay, so tails and 3. So this one. This one does not have a note explaining what it does, because she hands those out, apparently. So let me... Oh, I can't do just one part of it. I can't do like on the middle of a sentence. Okay. So I'll just do that. Okay, in your inventory is a Shale Orb of Shielding and a Scarn Orb of Shielding. The Scarred one I did not obscure because you can copy Twig's homework because that's the one he got.
Cool.
Oh wait, no, you got a 0. I had already decided that's the first one. So sorry, you actually have a Chert Orb of Shielding, which is you can copy off of Makayla's homework.
Okay.
Alright, I'm going to get some water. I'll be back in a jiffy. I am back.
That was a very good encounter.
Yeah, it's certainly an encounter.
I like to imagine that Zoaz has experience with the merchants in this country.
Say that. It's probably the first time you've encountered 3.
Oh, 3 absolutely,
Yeah.
but haranguing merchants, I don't think.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I feel like Zoaz would pretty easily remember someone as unique as 3 if he had met her before.
Oh yeah, she is definitely unique.
Very, very powerful merchant.
Uh-huh.
Actually had Makayla in the palm of her hand. Palm of her paw.
Mhm.
On the pads of her paw.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Stop that.
What?
I assume
Back.
she is talking to. Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh.
No.
I was gonna
I'm
say I
being
assume
stupid.
she's talking to Sigma, but
Sigma doesn't get stop that in that tone of voice, I think. It's either stop that or stop that.
And when you said it just now, Sigma like whips around. What? I didn't do nothing.
I think she pretty much actually did.
They know. What do you mean? I just was here.
I'm just licking. I'm just clicking myself.
Like, what do you mean? All right, are we all returned?
Yes.
Seems that way.
All right. Will everyone just kind of like say something or like let or open your mic so
Oh.
I can confirm?
Oi.
Baba.
Okay. And then Aegis?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here you are back on the ring of Baskar, the Dusty Spiral, with quite a bit of flint on your hands and a few ward orbs, as 3 had labeled them. And you have accomplished your task. Do you want to? What would you like to do?
I think we should get going from Baskar. No, Zoaz is going to start heading back to where Toka lives.
Okay.
And Charizard and Chuman follow suit.
All right. So yeah, let's we all head back towards Toka's apartment. Easy enough. You just recall where it was, and you have returned to the studio. Back in Toka's studio, you give a knock. You're outside the door currently, and who opens the door but a spiky minotaur?
Whoa.
Hmm.
He opens the door, stands in the doorway, looks at you all.
Does he... Wait, so he... before he opened the door, did he, like, ask us for the word? Like our agreed upon,
Watchword.
watchword? Yeah.
He did not. He just opened the door right away. And then he looks at you. Squints.
Zoaz looks at him and says,
Speak.
Rizar.
He nods. Get in.
And steps in.
Okay, you all make your way in with this mound, this shipment of flint on Pastiche's floating disc, Pastiche's inky disc, and he looks at you. Sorry, he looks at this barrel of flint with a basket of flint on top of it. How much did you... Why? I did not need this much.
Better safe than sorry, no?
I will admit, this will...
Celia shrugs.
This will keep me going for some time. There. And set it down over there. And he points towards just like an open wall space below a poster. He kind of like kicks some
in that direction.
Yeah, he kicks some broken mining equipment out of the way.
Lower it down and dissipate it.
Makayla kind of like, kind of like just like, I guess, slightly embarrassed. Just sort of like think of it as, I guess, payment for being so openly cooperative with us.
He takes a hefty amount of flint from the basket on top, and then kind of like cascades it, sends it all rolling on his workbench. He looks at you. I will cooperate with anyone that also cooperates with Mr. Alzir. I owe him much. And then he examines all the flint, and you can see him kind of like squint and then close one eye as he's scrutinizing all this. This is all extremely high quality. You were able to do business with that woman then. Well done. How did you get her to open up to you?
Xalia just kind of stares with the copy face and the rock on her head.
She would not say a word to me.
Oh, well. Many other ways to speak.
Xalia's gonna open her mouth and make the exact same, like,
And, well, 20 gold would gets a lot done, as it would seem. Makayla kind of says that, like, slightly under her breath.
Well, allow me to finish these repairs, and then we'll be on with it. I suspect it won't take me more than... He kind of like shifts a curved piece of steel. It will not take me more than 30 minutes, now that I have the materials that I need. Do you have anything that you need to prepare yourselves for before we head downstairs?
We could make sure to stock up on some supplies before.
Suppose so. If we need anything else.
Or you could always visit Khorzaire again.
Would we technically have had a short rest when we were just sort of waiting on that platform to be like, you know, rescued? Because we were waiting like a while, right?
Yeah, I'll let you retroactively take a short rest, but bring it up next time.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I
so
definitely meant to before we ended last time, but I remember being really tired.
Yeah, everyone can quickly take a short rest. And also, you can take a short rest here if you like. So you can have 2 short rests in a row if you really want.
To do nothing, really, but hey.
Xalia is going to be playing with her pet rock and using minor illusion to make it look like 3 times more alive.
Alright. So during this short rest, Toka is going to be kind of pounding away at the objects that are on his workbench. You can see him get up in the middle of it and take a piece of flint and make some make some adjustments to his gauntlets and the pile bunkers that are attached to it, and he sets back to working on these excavation orbs that he called them, and he's just pounding away. Since you guys have taken a short rest, let's see here. So that's what Toka's doing. He doesn't need to roll a short rest or anything. What are you guys doing during the short rest? Aside from Xalia, who already said what she's doing. Xalia, you can see on the bottom of the rock, as you're messing with it and you have the time to actually like look over it, you can see carved into it is the number 3 and a square.
Oops.
Interesting. I'm gonna add this to my inventory.
Yeah, go for it.
Zoaz is just doing his prayers.
Okay. And then everyone else, everyone that has a ward orb, you can choose to attune to it, but you don't know what it does because it was not described in the note, and it's such like it's like a minor thing where it's one of those things that you don't know until you do so.
Wait.
Twig.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you would like to attune to your ward orb, let me know, because it'll take up an attunement slot, which currently you're not in danger of like running out of. But as you're messing with your ward orbs, your new purchases, what I'm trying to say is you get the idea that they have another effect that 3 did not write down,
Okay.
but you're not sure what it is. But you get the sense that you can devote some of your adventurer energy to, and you can unleash this other effect.
Twig would do so.
Okay.
I'll attune to the Shale Orb.
Okay.
I'll tune to my orbs, I suppose.
You can attune to. Let's
I
see.
assume only one during the
Oh,
rest, right?
oops, sorry.
Yeah, just
Gonna
one
read.
during the rest.
Alright. I guess I'll go with the church, the force one.
Okay. The one that you attune to, put in parentheses so you can know.
I can just equip it. Right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can do
Okay.
that too. That's fine.
Xalia's also
possible?
going to start playing with her stuffed bear and the rock. They're friends.
Is it possible for Chuman to find a blacksmith to get some arrows?
Yeah, you exit the apartment and look for a blacksmith.
Yes.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You find a blacksmith. Let's see here. It's not too difficult. You just head back to Julta Ring, and what time is it? Unless you want to, we don't have to roleplay it out. You can just get arrows.
I'll just get arrows
Okay.
for right now.
All right. As a note, you also spot that they are offering silvering services. They have a sign just prominently displayed that they can silver pieces of ammunition, or they can silver anything else really. It costs 50 gold and takes a day, and they have to have the item with them for that day.
Chuman's gonna make note of that,
Okay.
but we'll have to decline.
Yeah. All right. And they can give you a silvered item. All right. So yeah, you can. How many arrows are you getting?
I am getting 14.
Okay.
Wait, no, I can only hold 20. I'm sorry. So just 4.
All right. I'm pretty sure it's like 20 for the price of 1 gold. Yeah, 20 arrows for 1 gold.
We'll just do that then.
Okay.
I guess it'll just somehow fit 36 of them in there.
Okay. Well, if you're getting 36.
Well, I have 16, so I'll just get a bundle of 20.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you just have like a bundle of 20 arrows.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You succeeded that.
Cool. Then Chuman returns to wait for Toka to complete.
Okay. And then, okay. Anyone else doing anything special during the rest? The short rest?
Pastiche will take a quick jaunt to a potion shop.
Okay.
An apothecary, if you will.
Alright. They sell rock potions.
Yo.
There's a... So you find a void tabaxi. No, I'm just kidding.
Little do you know, tree.
This one is named 2.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Alright, so unless you want to, we don't have to roleplay it since it's just short rest stuff.
No roleplay necessary.
Okay. What would you like from the potion shop? You find an apothecary. It is run by a snooty elf.
Just some potions of healing, I think.
Okay. What size?
Hit me with a variety.
Okay.
You can't handle the variety.
Okay, they are all regular price.
I'll pick up like 5 of them.
Okay, well, hang on. We may not have 5.
Oh, dang.
Okay, we have available are 7 potions of regular healing, 1 potion of greater healing, and he's got one really big one on that shelf. It looks like it's this bright crimson red. It's labeled potion of superior healing. It looks like a big honking one.
Pastiche will grab the greater potion of healing, 3 of the regular ones, and ask about the big honkin' one.
Okay. Potions of regular healing are 50 gold. Potions of greater healing are 100 gold, and the big honkin' one is 500 gold.
Oh no, that's so expensive. Whatever will Denoto do?
We'll leave the big honkin' one for another.
What was it, Pastiche?
We'll leave the big honkin' one for another time.
Okay.
It's only delaying and inevitable.
The rest I'd like to buy.
Okay. Go for it. You can find it in the you can find them in the compendium of
Cool.
items.
Out of character, but I felt like hearing that. I almost thought of like the Matrix and Mr. Smith.
All right. Anything else from anybody else?
Nope, I'm good.
I feel
Okay.
like Makayla would at a certain point start, playing solitaire or something. But yeah,
All right.
other than that, I think we're good.
Pastiche, all of the potions are in glass vials, but they have a certain rocky nature to them. Like there's like a bit of sediment in all of them. So like there's like it floating in all of them. You can ascertain that in addition to the red colored liquid, there's bits of mining rock that has found its way into the vials as well.
Oh,
Okay.
pulp.
Did you say pulp?
Yes.
Cool.
Basically is pulp for snake.
Yeah, pulp for snake.
It's just chunky pulp.
All right. Let's see. And then, Twig, you do anything?
Could Twig try to find a buyer for a couple of gemstones he's accumulated?
Okay. Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
A 17. Okay. Which ones would you like to sell?
The blue gemstone and the sardonyx gemstone.
Okay.
Actually, just the blue gemstone.
Just the blue one? Okay.
Do you have that jade gems?
The blue gemstone. Okay. The blue gemstone, you, Twig, you manage to. It actually takes you some time. Probably like most of the rest.
Okay.
Because no matter who, it seems like everyone that you run into turns you down because of given reason that you're in Baskar, the place where everyone mines these gemstones from. So it seems like they have lower value here, but you do manage to find a merchant that is passing through the town and convince him to purchase the gemstone for 95 gold.
I'll just delete that from my inventory.
And then everyone that stays inside, you can see Toka working on his excavation spheres over the course of the 30 or so minutes that he takes. He seems to be rather proficient at this whole repair thing. He has a deft hand. He's making hammer strikes at specific angles, and he seems focused. And all of his motions are made with purpose. So he seems pretty good at fixing things that are broken. There's a certain confidence in him. And then, as everyone that has left shuffles back in, and Twig enters again after saying the watchword of Rizar. Toka stands up and he goes and puts the spheres and he pockets them, or rather he attaches them to different sections of his raiment, and he goes and picks up the big gauntlets with these large poles attached to them, slides his arms in, grasps the handle on them, kind of pounds them together, boom, boom, fist first, and he looks at you all. Are you prepared?
Chuman nods.
I suppose as prepared as we can realistically be.
Twig nods confidently.
Makayla starts cleaning up her unfinished game.
I thank you for the flint. I wanted to make that clear. It is appreciated. It will go a long way for both my own work and also Baskar in general, for what we use it for. He nods, and let's see, since we're coming up on time, we'll just say he takes you to the enclosed elevator, ushers you all in. There's the enclosed elevator with the rail in the middle. He takes a moment and he looks at the panel that has the dragonfly insignia on it. He lifts it up, mutters to himself, "People messing with this, knowing not what they do. It's a wonder that anything works around here." And he brings his hand out from the gauntlet, and he unhooks a couple wires and then hooks them to this dragon shard in a couple different places. Closes the panel, and then let's see. And Chuman, he'll direct you to hit the elevator.
And Chuman nods and starts the elevator.
Okay. And then the elevator goes down, descends into the belly of Baskar. Like before, each time you ride this down in descending into the Earth's crust, it rumbles, it shakes violently, as if you're going into somewhere that has a foreboding feeling. And when it finally stops, the doors open. Toka steps out, lights a torch, moves forward, leading the party into the great mine operation, and then stops short at the destroyed bridge.
All right.
Back at it again.
Shakes his head. Fools. Can they keep nothing intact down here without my supervision?
Apparently not.
This water is not terribly deep. If you do not mind getting a little wet, we can simply wade through. Are any of you going to whine about being soaked?
Xalia decides that this is the time to grow fins and gills and just kind of jumps in and goes for a swim. She's been under the water for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Okay.
I've seen this one before. It's a classic.
Toka, this Goliath of a minotaur, wades through the water. It comes up to like his waist, and he fords the pool. Just making across. He holds the torch up high, illuminating the area.
Kayla kind of just wades in.
He looks around briefly for trying to ascertain what Xalia is doing.
You can't see her. She's flicking around in the water, having the time of her life.
And then
it seems she doesn't. The desert environment, I guess, makes her miss water more than normal.
While Xalia is underwater, Toka will ask out loud to the party, "Are any of you able to explain that one?" How long have you been traveling together?
Not terribly long.
A week or so. She does as she pleases. I like her.
Like the first life to come out of the sea, Xalia is going to crawl onto land, looking much
Actual
longer and more
protozoan.
serpentine than
An actual protozoan.
what she looks like.
Alright. Give
Still
me,
has the void cat face.
give me a performance check.
Arise.
Shumin mentions to Toka, she's quite eccentric.
Okay. there's a very small hint of you're not actually there's a small hint in your gait as you're coming out that belies that you're a humanoid instead of a sea monster setting foot on planet Earth hard ground for the first time. But overall, yeah, it's to the effect. You certainly catch Toka's attention, and he just stops and looks at you. And then he's
blink back.
And then, like, looking at you, he says to the group, but he's still looking at Xalia. Okay.
Makayla just shrugs, turns away, and it's like, illusionists, let them have their fun.
Okay, so...
To change the subject, believe it or not, we actually have... this was the path we went down before to rescue the young Orion, but towards the main pit area is where we last. This is about as far as we went.
I see. He leads you down the ramp. He leads you up this ramp that goes up to a slightly elevated section, and then, leading the way with a torch, he moves downward and starts heading down this curved tunnel that you had chased the Duergar down. Zoaz and Pastiche had, and the rest of the party followed suit. So he brings you down this way and leads you to the second stage of the mines, the area where you rescued the young Kitlali Orion and battled the hook horrors that were summoned by this clicking device that feather through, and the valiant battle with Plid the Big. Toka heads toward the south on the ramp down, and then he stops for a moment and looks around, hands his torch to Twig real quick, and then he briskly walks to the alcove to the north where the sphere was that Xalia was interacting with. He peeks around the corner, sees it, and just whistles, like, it spins around, dislodges itself from the rock, and then flies over to Toka, and he catches it in the air and puts it with his belongings. And then Xalia, what?
Xalia, still serpentine and fishy, is like just standing right in his personal space, bug-eyed.
He turns around and sees and is greeted by this. When he turns around, he like starts for a moment, like, may I help you? Be careful. It is a long way down.
Stare against the orb.
I believe she was particularly enamored with that orb last we were here. That automata.
I see. These are excavation tools. They provide menial tasks such as drilling and hacking away the easier to get through rock, and also boring holes to make it easier to access the more difficult rock that does not come away with a simple swing of a pickaxe. They're also useful, and he's explaining this as you guys are moving down the south ramp towards the place where what am I trying to say? Like above on the ridge, there was the shed where you had your battle. He's going down a tunnel below it, and he's like going down and descending further as you guys spiral around the big gap. And as he's walking, he's talking, and he explains that they are also useful for when we need to do explosive work. They were able to carve excavation glyphs that, due to my unique mining tools, and he looks over his gauntlets as he's saying this, we are able to trigger and blast particularly difficult areas.
Kayla's like not super listening to what he's been saying, but this has been following and like just kind of, you know, like nodding, like but mainly she's like trying to, you know, I mean, she can't obviously she can't actually see, so she's kind of just relying on hearing to try and get a sense of like how much, like if there's motion, like more or less sort of noise and commotion happening within these mines the last time she was here, because this is notably less of a welcome party this time around.
Yeah, make a perception check or a survival check, your choice.
Definitely perception.
Oh,
Hold on, this is okay. Did which one of us actually used our inspiration when we re-rolled that survival check for finding the
That was Zoaz.
the shop? Okay, then I'll actually use my inspiration for this.
Okay.
Need a good sound effect
think-
for a natural one.
Alright, there, you know, one's funny.
There are more faces on the die that you could roll, Makayla.
No.
There's ones in between. Like there's one and
I
there's
think- I
20,
didn't think-
right? There's
Yeah, I
like
was
15. There's 10, 11.
I like how it was so close to landing on 2, and it was just like, nah.
No, I was really confused why like I think Foundry bugged, like gave me such a low number. I didn't even know that number could exist.
uh-huh.
You know?
All right, so
Weird.
from a natural 1 to a natural 20. So you kind of tune out Toka, and you feel so like you tune out Toka and just kind of like half listen to him, and instead you feel out in this cave system. There is still the rhythmic pounding of what you have gathered now is pickaxes against cavern. You get the sense that it is reverberating through the mine shaft from a different location. It's coming from, you've learned that there's a public mine, and then you're in the secret mine. It's coming from the public mine. It's just hitting the walls in a certain manner where it does reach over here. And then, of course, the vibrations of the earth as well. So it's in order to cause that sort of thing down here, you know that they're using some hefty equipment, in addition to hefty, pickaxe strikes. These are like these are good miners. You do not hear the more pronounced rhythmic pounding that you heard last time, because that person is here with you. And you also notice that eerily all the corpses of the people that you had slain are not here. And so like none of the bodies that you left are laying on the ground. They have all disappeared. And what else were you looking for?
No, I mean that's about it.
Okay. As you're maneuvering down, there is like a sense of stillness. And as Toka's continuing to explain the excavation orbs and the glyphs that they are able to write on caverns, that they then use for detonation and blasting excavation, and also their drilling and smaller things. He leads you down. This mine shaft spirals downwards on a gentle slope for several minutes. It is an enclosed tunnel with unlit braziers that every 10 feet that Toka doesn't bother to light. There's rectangular wooden supports above that keep the integrity of the cavern from collapsing on you. And then Chuman, as you continue down and down, you can feel part of you kind of like awaken and become more energetic, as if like a sixth sense has turned on the deeper you travel into the earth. You spent so much time down here now that your awareness heightens, and you begin to sort of expect the next set of terrain and what the next cavern or alcove looks like before it comes. And this allows you and your allies to benefit from your favorite terrain.
Okay.
And you can hear the creak of wood below you in the mine rails at this moment. This actually kind of puts you guys here. Oops. With the light of the torch, you can see the emptiness below, and you realize you're on a bridge. This part fell, Toka brusquely explains. And that's it. That's all. As if that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And then continuing on with the torch, you return to solid cave floor. Behind you and to the left is an unfinished and unrefined hole. Sorry, even though I just moved you guys back, I'll move you here. Zoop. So behind you and to the left is an unrefined hole. It's not finished. It's like in the middle of being dug. The walls are jagged and rough, and there are no supports. Ahead, you can see the mine tracks curl around an immense hole that must be part of the one that you saw above, and it drops ever deeper into the dusty spiral of crust. Barely illuminated in the light is an immense pillar in the middle of the hole with a bridge kind of built around it that connects two alcoves of rock from across the way. And in the torchlight, you can make out because Toka's always just holding this up. In the torchlight, you can barely make out in the dim light that there is a relief on the pillar facing you, but the pillar is kind of like above you guys, where the wooden platform is, and then the minecart that you're, the minecart track that you're going around is going down. The pillar with the wooden bridge is attaching two elevated cliffs of rock. And in front of you is a turned over minecart. So as you are maneuvering down, and you can see this relief on the pillar, especially the people with dark vision, because dim vision becomes bright vision. You can see it clearly. It appears to be, but from the distance you're not really able to make it out, appears to be a large figure or a face on the top right, and it has like bony curling fingers over many circles, but that's all you can make out from your current location. And as you maneuver down ever deeper into the crust, into spiraling down the dusty spiral, that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Alright.